Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Going Out, Looking In, the podcast about the big questions of life, personal growth, and spirituality. My name's Maxi, and I have a very cool, chilled, laid-back, authentic, honest conversation for you today. I'm speaking with David Ramirez. David is one of my favorite singer-songwriters in the world from Austin, Texas in the United States, and he has been accompanying me on my musical as well as personal journey for numerous years. I remember sitting in my mom's basement in 2016, playing his songs. I remember sitting in my student dorm room during my bachelor's, learning his songs, singing along, busking in the streets of Berlin, in Mauer Park. I remember concerts I have hosted at uni, where always I basically played songs of his. Argue with Heaven, for all people who remember that, was always the last final song. And so his music is just always had some sort of like an anchor. His concert in Fort Worth live is one of my favorite concerts ever, taped and recorded. The vulnerability, the authenticity and integrity that is in David's work and in his writing is unparalleled. Really, it's there's no filter, really. Like you really hear and feel that what is going on within him at that time is always basically immediately translating to his music. And I really appreciate that. You know, there's a lot of artists who are really only focused on how can I create this and that sort of effect on my audience, and what do they want and what do they need. But he's really like, and you'll get that also when you are listening and watching his shows, that he's just really focused on being true to where he's at this moment. And I really appreciate that about him. We touched on so many different topics, from the early years when he started basically playing music and living in his car, the hard times, overcoming them, really trying to make ends meet, what that did for and with him. We talked about vulnerability and authenticity when creating. We talked about the relationship of suffering and creating, and why that can be and maybe is important for artists, hardship, and so on. We talked about the current state of the world. We explored the relationship of religion and faith and belief and spirituality, and what is currently basically going on for David, where he wants to go, what is alive within him. So it's a very tender, sweet, not too long, not too short kind of episode, and I really enjoyed talking to him. Yeah, isn't that awesome? One of my favorite musicians, and I can just talk to him. It's just awesome. So thank you so much for joining and sticking around. I wish you, much fun with this episode. And David Ramirez.
So I suppose you'll be in every song I sing. If not written in my words, you'll be hidden in these strings. 'Cause how could I ever forget my first love? My first woman, first truth, first child from above. But why do I hang on to your pictures? Why have I not just thrown out that dress? 'Cause it kills me to see you, but it kills me not to. It kills me to remember, and it kills me to forget. Oh, it kills me to see you, but it kills me not to. It kills me to remember, and it kills me to forget.
So, it's kind of a full circle moment for me, to be honest, David. I gotta say that the podcast, going out, looking in, started with me going out with my mobile recorder, and then I looked in, what's alive within me, and I share that with my audience. I share that with my interview guests, and it's just like a very unique opportunity for me to reach out to people that I really find inspiring, and I find have something to say, and who are doing somewhat of a different thing, of a similar thing. They also go out, they look in, and then they share that in whatever way. And so when I brainstormed around people I could put on a show, I was just always, I had to think of you and your music. Been listening many years, more than 10 years, I think. And when I started busking, man, you were right up there. I didn't have any of my own songs, so it was Shoeboxes, it was Argue with Heaven, it was Forgiven, it was Fire of Time, it was all of those really mellow singer-songwriter tunes of yours that I really, really love. Life in Fort Worth, dude, man, I must have listened 1,000 times, probably. 1,000 views on YouTube are mine.
Thank you.
And one little more anecdote before we get started is I used to organize some gigs at my uni, and I did like some sort of like Maxi and Friends. So I was playing some tunes on my guitar, and I had like some friends come also on the show, and we were playing some tunes for quite a few people. I mean, it got bigger and bigger, and I always closed down with Argue with Heaven, and it was the favorite of everyone. Like they loved it.
Oh, that's nice.
And your hope can hold on. But if your love, if your love is gone, you got nothing. You got nothing. I'm gonna breathe deep and love strong. Hold on forever. And I'm gonna live long and die young and argue with the gates of heaven. You're gonna see, yes, you're gonna see, you're gonna see, yes, you're gonna see that I'm gonna
Yeah. So
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Well, that song, I imagine that song would work really well in a busking situation because you got to play and sing pretty loud for people to hear you. So that works. I used to do that. I used to do that back in the day.
Busking.
Oh yeah, a lot of busking in the years 2000, 2007, 2008. Yeah.
Mm, mm. That was when it all started, or was that even earlier for you?
Uh, I s- I was writing before that, and I had been playing shows before that. But yeah, I'd lost my job in Nashville, and without really knowing what move to make next, um, I just knew I wanted to sing songs for people, and I didn't really know how to go about doing that. And I thought Nashville would solve that problem, but what I lacked was vision, and I didn't know
Mm.
how to pursue a career in music. I just thought, well, if I move to Nashville and then maybe play a couple songs at a couple bars, then I'm clearly talented enough. Someone's going to sign me, within 1 month. I was just a very naive, egotistical individual, and that had no plan. So when I lost my job, I didn't really feel like hanging around Nashville.
Mm.
So I just sold what I could sell, and then lived in my car for about 6 months, and just for the first time traveled the world or the country, and yeah, I played street corners or living rooms or open mics, whatever I could figure out.
Mm. Yeah, it's funny that you start going right there, because in the preparation for the podcast, I was going back to also my first sort of memories I had of listening to your music, where I was at in my life, which was basically the beginning of uni. I was on the brink of, I always was making music, but I was always like sort of on the edge of like, do I want to really give it a shot, do it full time or not? I was always on that sort of, yeah, because I played drums as well, and then started to pick up the guitar. And you were just very, I don't know, I mean, also the songs that you've written and the interviews you gave at that time, 2012, 13, were a lot about I remember that when you were talking about living in the car, trying to make ends meet, tour, just play whatever you can. And I just really connected with that. And I just felt it, and I remember playing, what was that? Fires in the in the basement of my mom's house, and I sent it to you on Instagram. It was 2016.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It was really, I felt that sort of, I felt the pain and the heaviness of the situation for you. I don't know. That's what I received. So now that I'm talking to you, I would ask you, like, what was that time like for you? How did that
In
feel?
2008,
Yeah, when you start really sort of go out and onto the road, and
it was
living in the car. Yeah.
it was the ultimate freedom. I felt free. I felt adventurous, and like I was purposeful and intentional. Um, that's how I felt. The reality of it, outside of my body, was idiotic and chaotic and irresponsible, and and I would never ever do it again. But I'm glad that I did, and I look back at that time with a lot of love for myself and who I was. Um, yeah, I was connected with people, and I was connected with the road, and um, I was open. And in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm not as open as I was then, and I would like to get back to that mindset at some point in my life. And but yeah, it was beautiful, and like I said, uh, stupid, and uh, but I was free, and I'm sure I made my family worry a lot, I know for a fact. But they would never tell me. They're too supportive to make me feel like they were worried. But I know them well, and I'm sure my parents were stressed and worried and thinking that their kid had lost his mind. But and I definitely was. My friends were a lot more vocal than my parents were, and the reason I eventually settled down here in Austin, Texas, was because a friend looked me in the face and said, "You look like you're about to die. Like, you look bad." And I said, "Well, I can't afford rent anywhere, so I'm just going to keep doing this." And he was kind and generous enough with his house that he owned to just allow me to live there for only $200 a month, which is unheard of. And that's when I got off the road. As far as living in my car, got off the road. Yeah, but no, it was a beautiful time in my life. I think about it from time to time, and it brings a smile on my face. But yeah, I would never do that again. But I would recommend it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Thanks for going there. It's yeah, and I mean, you've written about it that, as the audience, this is sort of like something that we can lean on as listeners, and we can connect to that sort of vulnerability and that was quote unquote hard times. And the more I also talk to creatives, I more and more find that suffering and overcoming adversity is, for some, can be part of the journey, and can be sort of like the fuel for creativity. What would you say? You think that's true?
That hardships fuel it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. I agree. I mean, I find it when we go through something tough or draining, that's when we want to talk about it. When someone's having the best day of their lives, they're not really going into a coffee shop to meet a friend and be like, "Let me tell you all about it." They're just chill. But we tend to open up more when things are kind of a little wobbly and a little difficult. And I find that to be true with the creative process as well. The challenge is, I mean, you fall in love with that vulnerability, and you fall in love with that that openness, that channel, that communication when you are going through a hard time, and you sit down and you write, or you paint, or you sculpt, or you play, and the challenge is not becoming addicted to that hardship in order to create. The challenge is to be addicted to creating, and to find a way to do it even in a healthy way, and find a way to do it even when your life is positive and sweet, and when you are in love. And that's what I've found to be the big challenge. And thankfully, I feel like I've reached that place where I can go there, even when things are not, even when things are easy, and even when things are, going well. Because we lose a lot of people to that depression when you feel like you cannot create unless you're sad, and you cannot create unless you are heartbroken, and it really perpetuates a very self-destructive behavior, which leads to a self-destructive lifestyle. And yeah, but I do agree, hardships definitely bring out a lot of feelings, and we want to express them for sure.
Yeah.
But let's express our feelings even when we are happy. That is the challenge.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, there are happy songs, you know, and there is tunes I put on to elevate a state of happiness, and that I want to connect with the happiness of the artists. Also, when that is coming from a sincere place, I think that's the sort of like common ground of all the music that I love, is just like sincerity, across the whole spectrum of, you know, let it be sad or happy, or contentment, or wherever somebody's at. Um, but yeah, as long as it's coming from that place of authenticity and sincerity, that just does something to me. And yeah, so basically, you know, the suffering artist is just something that was coming up again and again in some conversations. And yet, as you say, it's not sustainable. And on the pain, you know, of so many people who then left way too early, so many people profited from. I know you've written about it. And so I guess also something I wanted to explore a little bit with you, how the relationship to the industry and what's going on, with artists and artistry in general, has changed for you over the years. I know you've you've written some some songs about it. So where are you at with that right now?
Um, fuck them. Like I, for the longest time, I tried to chase down labels and industry folks and to back me and to support me and to, you know, sign contracts with me. And but I don't know. There's something about me that they just never seem to like. Um, and I do have this really great group of folks. I mean, I have a manager and an agent, and they treat me like $1,000,000 and take care of me. But as far as like the label side, I work with this this group out in Nashville called 30 Tigers. It's a very simple, you know, if I have a new album, I give them the first listen, and then they've been generous with their time. But it's a distribution label, so they're not like full blown giving me, you know, putting my face in Times Square and things like this. Uh, and that used to really bother me, and I used to be really bitter that no one wanted to sign me, and I'm not sure why that never happened or hasn't still, but fuck them. I mean, I can't live or create or do this thing that I love so much, waiting around for someone to say, yes, we approve of you. And yes, you are worth this amount of money. And that bothered me when I was in my 20s and early 30s. But, you know, I'll be 40 in August, and life is flying by, homie. It just gets faster and faster, and God bless and hats off to anyone who has made that happen for themselves in their career. I'm not saying the industry is bullshit. We all know the industry is bullshit. What I'm saying is I can't wait around knocking on people's doors left and right. Like, do you want me? Do you want me? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? And, you know, I'm not getting any younger, and I want to enjoy the rest of my life. And so, I don't know. I will, with every record, I will let people listen to it and to see if they are interested. But 10 years ago, I was losing a lot of sleep over it. And I'm not going to lose any more sleep over that. Yeah, it's not a sustainable practice at all to need someone to approve the work that I make. The people who show up to my gigs and who have for 15 years have turned out to be the sweetest and most generous people on the planet. So as long as I get to keep kicking it with them, then life's not so bad.
Yeah, I was just about to ask if that one goal of so many musicians out there, and that North Pole, that pole star of, of a landmark to hit, meaning, getting signed, playing a specific venue, selling out something, or whatever it is for them. If that is basically you get free from that and don't get attached to that. I guess the question I would ask you is, so what's the goal right now for you when picking up the guitar, sitting down on the piano?
I mean, I still have bucket list things, I don't want to come across. I don't want to come across like a complete purist. Where it's all about the work. I'm obsessed with the work for sure. But yeah, I'd love to play Saturday Night Live. Are you kidding me? Be fucking amazing. Awesome. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Who wants to grab a drink tonight? I know, it's only Tuesday and you gotta work tomorrow. Who wants to come to my place after the bars close? I know, you got the kids, you can't wake up hungover. Time, I got nothing but time, I got nothing but. Second matinee today, and the sun's still shining. A park beneath some shade, and I might just get a nap in. Pop 2 Tylenol, I'll give Jeremy a call. And if he's busy, I'll probably just drive to Houston. Time, I got nothing but time, I got nothing but time, I got nothing, I got nothing, I got nothing but round and round. I'm getting dizzy. One more round, please. Let's keep this fuzzy. I hear the tick-tock. Can you tell me, is he trying to mock? It's all been a bit blurry for some time now. I got nothing but time now. I got nothing but time. I got nothing but time. I
But my view has shifted where those bucket list moments, venues, opportunities, tactile things that you can touch and see and feel. Um, those used to be the goal, and now the goal is to work to view those things like the cherry on top of the cake and not the cake itself. The cake has to be the work. That's that's the joy. That's the real work because you can't put a label on it. You can't give yourself an award. You write a song here in your house and you fucking lose your mind over this one tiny little sentence or line or word, and then when you nail it, you light a cigarette and you take a shot of tequila and you're like, yes. And that's for you, and that's the cake, and that's what I want to pursue more. The older I get, is that moment. It is so rewarding and special and sweet and personal, affirming that you have not been wasting your time, but you have been paying attention and you have been listening um, to the universe, to yourself, to the things around you. Yes, if someone were to hand me a Grammy, that would be a beautiful cherry on top of the cake. But that cannot be the whole thing. It can't be. Terrible, terrible artists have won Grammys. So why the fuck would I want to wake up every day to put myself in that category just to say I did it? If someone were to say, hey, your work, we recognize you, we see you, and here's this little trophy, hell yeah, that'd be sick. And I'd party and I'd rage. But I can't wake up wanting that. I have to wake up wanting the work. Because the work is you and, you and anyone out there in the world who's creating on any level, in any capacity. You know yourself better. I mean, every time you sit down to write a song, it's essentially looking yourself in the mirror and asking the $1 million question, who am I and what do I believe? And when you get to sit down and ask yourself that every day and learn more and more about who you are and how you view the world around you, I'm over the moon.
Well, the subline of this podcast is going out looking in a podcast about the big questions of life, personal growth and spirituality. So that first part you just touched on, the big questions.
Right on. All right, so we're off to a good start.
Yeah. Dude, man, you're giving me the perfect segue. Okay. So I would be curious. So today you sit down, you ask yourself, all right, who are you and what do you believe in? Where you're at with that right now? What would you say?
Oh, well, I mean, you talking about God?
Well, whatever that is for you, I don't know, man.
Okay. I'm trying. Yeah. Earlier this year in January, I almost threw in the towel. I was pretty close. I had called my manager and my agent and said, I will fulfill the dates that are already on the calendar for this year, but don't book me anymore after that. I don't want to do this anymore. And when I went out in March with Dylan LeBlanc, something within my conversations with him and something about watching him play every night and every night him getting better than he was the night before. And the types of people who are coming out to the shows, I fell in love with it again, and it's been a very long time. been a very long time since I had fallen in love with it, or been in love with it rather. And I'm not gonna quit. Turns out. So right now, what do I believe in? I'm trying desperately to believe in myself, and and um, and be grateful for the 15 years I've had to stand behind a microphone and have people buy tickets and get babysitters and have the nervous moment where they ask someone out on a date and come spend time with me. And I don't want to stop being a part of people's lives in that capacity. I think I owe it to myself. I think I owe it to my parents, and not to just throw in the towel, but just to keep going and find new ways to love it. So
see you,
what
man.
do I believe in? I believe in the work. I believe in the capacity to be better, and I want to kind of step up to that challenge. And right now, man, fuck, like everyone is so angry. I don't know what's going on. You're in Germany, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here in the States, there's just, I mean, we have, it's a very diverse group of folks, you know. I mean, I don't think everyone's ever been on the same page. But right now, it is just tough to get along with anyone right now. Everyone is so amped up and fired up about every tiny little belief that they have in their life, which, great. You should be convicted about your beliefs. You should be passionate about your opinions and where you stand. I don't think we need to move to apathy, but the inability to accept others right now is so incredibly overwhelming. You're afraid to open your fucking mouth in public because for fear of being just berated. And it is dangerous over here right now, and it is not fun. And so to have the opportunity for 2 to 4 hours, bring people together in the same room to be on the same page about one thing for a brief moment of time, it's of peace, of like, okay, we're here now, and you're different, and you're different. I accept everyone's differences. But right now, we're all on the same page, that we just want to hear songs, and we want to hear stories, and we want to laugh, and we want to feel. Yes, let's do that. So if I can give people that for just 4 hours of their whole week or month, then count me in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful though, and it's very powerful. That's the power of creativity in music and arts. I guess there's few things in the world that can unify in that capacity, and for you to be the facilitator and the initiator of that kind of movement or that kind of dynamic for an evening, I imagine to be very fulfilling and something to nourishing for when you're sitting down day after day after day in your room alone by yourself. That is sort of like fueling you and giving you sort of like a reason, okay, not to throw the towel, to keep going. It's very beautiful and powerful. But man, yeah, you don't gotta look only to the U.S. It's in the same here, man. It's same here. There's a lot of rage, a lot of dissatisfaction, a lot of anxiety and general sort of stress. And yeah, it may, but I have to say though, you know, it's two sides of one coin. You know, it's like on the one hand that leads to suffering and it leads to a lot of pain and a lot of dark dark dynamics in a society, but it makes the free moments and the joy of people even brighter. I have the feeling. So when something's happening, when people are then going out and they have like these experiences, I am reminded of some part of humanity over and over again that I sometimes feel like I haven't seen for years, but when I do, it's so touching. And also where I'm at in my life, to just invite more of those people on that frequency into my life brings so much and enriches that, because I mean, there will be people and folks who live in that same pond of misery and self-pity, and everything's bad and it's everyone's fault. And but there are some bright lights out there, and some people who are still creating, just like yourself, man, and who keep going,
Oh yes, of course. I by no means should anyone take my words as this is too hard. And I mean, I say this at my shows, that it is my understanding that times have been tough since the beginning of time. And this is just our moment to tough it out. If anyone has ever read any history book or religious book, no, it has been dark since day one. And this is just our moment to go through the fire, and I believe that we will, and I believe I will. And I just wish we could go through the fire with a little more grace and a little more compassion for others around us. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it would, for sure. But I feel like there's a very sort of bright energy and a big shift in consciousness happening. Really, like people are asking, I feel like, the right question. I mean, it might be also my bubble, but I feel like there's like a general sort of like higher level of awareness, and sort of like a shift in terms of like, okay, what is serving us, what is serving me, what is really, what is this all about? Like, is it really about making money, climbing up the career ladder? Is it really about that? Bigger house, bigger car? And I feel like more and more people, also a lot of young people, they see, they look at it from a different angle, and cherish a lot of quote unquote small things, and it gives me some hope, and I connect with some of those people, across the board, also on the podcast here. And it's just
what
so
young
beautiful
people
to
are
see,
you seeing?
To find fellow humans who believe in the good, and
Sure.
in those kind of, in the future of our planet, because
Yeah. I'm curious as to what young people you're around.
Yeah, it
because
might
that
be only
sounds-
my bubble, but
because that
it's
sounds
really
great.
people who, they drop out, they don't really follow the curriculum, and they say, life's too short to keep playing the game.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that's the case.
You see it differently, or you experience it differently in the States?
I mean, to be fair, I'm not really around a lot of younger folks. I wish that I had that kind of opportunity to, have conversations with folks in like their, in their teenage years or early 20s, to kind of see to gauge what the temperature is. I don't really know. All I really see is stuff on the internet, and I don't I don't get that vibe. I get the vibe of we are a social networking generation, and we are going to capitalize on this thing and get very, very rich and very, very famous off doing very, very little. Just we figured out how an algorithm works, and we got it. So, but obviously, the internet is not the full spectrum of what's actually happening in the world, but it's just a little snapshot. But I don't really know. I don't really know folks who are younger. I should. You're making me think. I should probably get involved in some kind of program where I can play music with kids and kind of see where the heartbeat is. It's not a bad thought. Thank you for inspiring me a touch there.
Yeah, I guess it's the future, and yeah, it's
you guess it is literally the future.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, I guess it's just it might be also just only my bubble. But yeah, there will always be two sides to the coin, and I get that. I see a generation tied and glued to their smartphones, who really think in content. They structure their whole existence around how to create content, whatever that.
It's my least favorite word on the planet. It is my least.
Man, I so much resonate with that. Yeah,
content and the word connect. Both those words I hate.
Yeah, well,
I had a friend move out to Nashville a few years ago, and we've been friends for a very, very long time. He says, hey, next time, this is a few years ago now. He said, next time you're in Nashville, we should connect. And I said, oh God. I said, you live in Nashville when you change the word hang out to connect. Get the fuck out of here, dude. We're friends. Don't use the word connect to me. Don't. Or you will never see me again, Yeah, let's connect and make some content. Get out of town.
Yeah. I guess I'll circle back on my outreach email and scan for the word connect and content to make sure they're not in there. But yeah, the intention, the intention and the impact, if as long as they are aligned, and I think my intention is coming from a hopefully pure place, and the music that you create is coming from a pure place, and the impact you have on people showing up to your gigs, I think they'll recognize you for that, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the deal. I know for a fact how to write a number one hit. I know how to do it. And I don't. I write what I want to write, and I sing how I want to sing. And writing a number one hit is not all that hard. And getting famous is not all that hard. I don't choose to be on the outskirts of society by any means, but I do choose to be me. And that clearly being you as a full-blown individual is not the key to success, but it is the key to a very joyful existence.
So when you say
look at my face, don't I look joyful? Doesn't this face just exude joy?
Oh, well.
Come on, kids, be just like me.
Yeah, back to where we started a bit. It's about we go through it, and certainly, man, dude, I go through something as well right now. I told you, parting ways with my partner. and feeling into all of that. And when you say, it's not hard to write that number one hit. What is hard, what I'm getting and what I'm sensing from what you're saying is it's hard to be yourself and to be authentic to that and to stick to that. And so I'm trying that as well with the art that I'm creating, basically with those conversations, for example, and not to shy away to go there when the conversation is going in that direction and not pulling any punches there, because that'll make people connect with what I'm doing. And sometimes, I listen back and I'm doing editing and stuff, and I'm like, oh, dude, man, no, really went for it, man. But that's it. Those are the risks worth taking. And it's always there's the people who consume, and then there's the people who produce. And if you're on the side of the latter, I think it comes with a price. Not everybody can do it. And I think to acknowledge also artists and to see them and to say, dude, you in some shape or form you really influenced and had a positive, awesome impact on my life. And I can say that for you, man. You did that with your music and me, and you're still doing that. So because on those lonely nights, on those summer nights, windows down, I'll be putting on that Fort Worth and concert, and I'll be jamming along to every single song, and I know every single chord, and I just feel into it, man.
That's really sweet. That's really sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Has to be said.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess something along those lines I wanted to also ask you is your current excitement. What are you excited about? What are you working on? And how did it maybe change also from the albums and stuff that we just talked about, the earlier albums and stuff, to where you're at now? What's going on?
I'm writing again, which feels really great. But it's in the very, very baby steps. It's an infant right now. I started maybe a month ago. I took a little trip out to Alabama, this little cabin out in Waverly, and I'm trying to get back out there at the end of this month for a couple weeks to just isolate and be able to focus, and do the work. I don't know necessarily what the vibe is or how it's going to sound. What I do know for a fact is I want to gift myself for my 40th birthday a very adult record. And so I know that I want to work with strings, and I know I want to work with horns on this album. And
beautiful.
And I have 3 songs that I really love right now, but I'm trying to get 15 or so, and then demo them out and see which ones really make me feel something, and then hopefully choose 10 or 12 of those and to make the album. But that's what I'm working on right now. I got a lot of tours coming up this summer that I'm excited for. Got like 3 festivals up in Scandinavia in June. Those are going to be awesome. They're like Americana festivals or something, which is so funny that we're playing Americana festivals in Stockholm. But but I am excited to do those. And
The Vikings.
Yeah. Americana. I was like, okay, well, this is Sweden. But those are going to be really fun, and and then I'll do most of Europe in August and September. That's going to be great. And then hopefully, when I get home in because I have July off, so I would like to start being in the studio in July.
Right.
And then when I get back in September, I'd like to finish the record before the end of October, and that way I can get it all, all the nice finishing touches, and then hopefully, you know, I mean, what's the saying that God laughs at our plans, but Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I will have a new record out in the beginning of 2024.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
already looking forward to it. Listen to another interview when preparing for this one, and you talked about also a rock and roll record. You might want to do.
Yes. That I'm feeling more confident in myself that I can continue putting records out under my name that are sensitive and sweet and vulnerable. And I've always been really insecure about that in the past. I got, I have a lot of friends who are in the industry, and they just make really fucking cool records, like so cool. And I don't really listen to singer-songwriters. I find my group of people to be unbearable. So if someone comes up to me and they're like, "You should check out this singer-songwriter," I'm like, "No, I don't want to check them out." I don't listen to that kind of music. But however, it is what I do, and I do it well. So I'm feeling okay just doing the work that I do. So this rock and roll stuff, I've realized that I can join another band, and I can play bass in another band, and then all those feelings and all that love for rock can be handled and taken care of in another project, and I can just keep being me and writing the kind of stuff that I've been working towards for a very long time.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm starting this side project with some friends here in town. I probably shouldn't say what we're calling the band or make promises, but I am playing bass, and we have written like 5 or 6 songs, and hopefully by the end of the year we'll have a full album and then release that sometime next year, which would be really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Exciting.
pretty stoked about it. I'm really stoked about it, actually.
That takes me back to what was it? What was the collaboration Glorietta you did?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was a really, really great moment in my life, for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I love Noah as well. I love his music. Big fan. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
have him
me
on.
too.
Who knows? But I've seen him also a couple of times live, and yeah, also one of those artists where I just connect, and I see him. I feel like I see him and I hear what he's saying. There's not, there's also, and it goes for your music as well. There's not many filters on it. I have the feeling I'm quite close as a recipient. I'm quite close to the actual thing, like what you're trying to say and
Yeah.
how it's arriving at my place. It's very transparent. It's very there's not much in between, and so that makes for good connection.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like being able to do that. I like that you use the word no filter. There's very little filter on it. Excuse me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I when I just sat down and I was like, okay, I don't want to overthink this. I want to, do my research and stuff, but I want to just talk to you and really connect.
Oh God, I'm hanging up now.
Yeah. No, but I wanted to sort of like come up with like my favorite line of one of your songs, and And then I was like, what is that? And then I was taking a walk, and it was just coming to me, and I thought grace was in the clouds among the heavenly, but now it's staring me right in the eyes. I thought, dude, that's something that hit home for me back then, and it still does now. Such a beautiful song and beautiful line.
Thank you.
Oh, you've been quick to dismiss all my apologies. My confessions seem to only waste your time. I thought grace was in the clouds among the heavenly, but now it's staring me right in the eyes. You remind me who I was and who I want to be. You remind me that though not whole, I'm not empty. Oh, there are things I lost in the fire of time. Things I thought again I'll never see. Oh, but when it's hard for me to recall my name, you remind me. Oh, you remind me. Oh, you remind me.
You remember when you wrote that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I was on the road driving from Lubbock, Texas to Austin, Texas. And it's about a 6.5, 7 hour drive. And I had met this, at the time, I met this wonderful woman. I mean, I imagine she's still wonderful, but that's when she and I met. And I don't know, I think I've done a really great job of consistently carrying guilt and shame with me wherever I go. And she just did a really great job of making me feel okay, that I'm okay. And I don't remember before she came around another person outside of my family, but another person who was just out in the world making me feel like I was okay. And yeah, I wrote that whole song on that drive. And then I got home, picked up a guitar, put music to it, and then it was done. Yeah, I'll never forget that moment. There hasn't been another song in my catalog that has just been written on a drive like that and then done. That one just kind of came from the universe for sure. I love that song.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for sharing. It's so beautiful. Yeah, super nice. Yeah, I connect with that. And as the relationship with my partner now is changing, you listen. Yeah, it's the same song, but you relate to it differently.
As it should be. We shouldn't. This is my problem with talking about. I mean, I don't have an issue sharing where a song came from, but when you're behind a microphone and you're on stage and you're like, this song is about this. People who do that with every fucking song they sing. No, this is a piece of work that you made. Just sing it. I imagine we'll get the story, but more importantly, you're telling us where to go with it, and that's not really fair. We should be allowed to navigate this work based off our own experiences and our own current circumstance, and that's the beautiful thing about work is it's always up for interpretation. And as literal as my songs may be from time to time, I've heard people come up to me and be like, "Man, it makes me feel this way," and I'm like, "Sick! That's awesome." Because I thought I was being real obvious about what this was about, and but you took it to another level, and that makes me really, really happy. Because I don't ever want to tell people how they should feel. I just want them to feel free to, experience something on their own.
Yeah.
I mean, that even goes back to that even goes back to not just feelings, or interpreting a song in a certain way, but you hear words different if someone doesn't enunciate correctly or if it's not really clear what they're saying. I have a song called Fires, and one of my favorite stories about that song is I was playing it once, and this woman came up and she said, okay, so I guess I should probably say what the first verse is. Looks like you got me where you want me, so go ahead, roll up your web. The best things in life are hard to come by, but sometimes the best things come from accidents, right? That's the first verse. So she comes up to me after the gig, and she's like, that song, Fires. Whoa. That first verse, how did you even write that? And I'm like, I don't know. I was just thinking about how, beautiful things can come out of hard times or whatever. She's like, yeah, but that one line, the best things in life come from Mexicans. I said, it's accidents. I do agree that the best things in life come from Mexicans, yes. But what a terrible lyric that would be.
Oh, man.
So you just have to allow people to hear and to feel what they're going to hear and what they're going to feel. And then you get a good laugh out of it sometimes.
But that's integrity, man, and not so many people have that nowadays. To really just stand by what they have a feeling that because you emanate that clearly. You're just like, I am me, and I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna do my thing.
Yeah.
And if you resonate with that, then that's fine. That's cool. But it's really not coming from a place of please like me, please love me, and I'm gonna make sure that everybody does, and that is, that's a big quality. That's a big quality. It makes you stick out, big time. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate you saying that, and it's something that I work towards. But believe me when I say I work towards it. I'm deeply insecure and deeply motivated by being accepted by people. And so when I make a decision to say fuck it or just be me, that is a hard thing for me to do. And it's something that I have to be very intentional and active about. It does not come naturally to me. And yeah, it's work, and but it's good work. I don't want to be living under the approval of others. I want to live under the approval of me, and but I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate you seeing me and hearing me for sure. But just know that I did not come into the world with that characteristic. It's something that I've definitely had to work. work towards.
And what helps you to do that?
Um, knowing the result of living the other way. I anytime that I've had a year or two or been in a relationship where I just wanted to submit to their wishes, or or friendships or whatever, where I wasn't really allowed to fully be who I am, and I've just been the most sad person I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And I can't, I just can't live that way in sadness or under an umbrella of, like, approval. I want to, I can't do it. It's heartbreaking. And yeah, I just want to shed myself of
Yeah.
that
receive
fear or
that.
that pressure. Yeah.
Mm, yeah, I get that completely. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing. So slowly towards the end, I would love to. you. It's also a story you tell how your relationship to religion has changed over the years, and how how also you how church made you feel back in the day. Something along the lines of, you still don't know how people can make a 17-year-old feel, as he might go to hell every second,
Yeah.
although he's like completely innocent, but the church is able to pull that off. So the church and
For
religion, obvious,
centuries.
yeah, for sure. That's an institution and stuff, but on this podcast, it's we talk about the bigger things and what keeps people going, and what inspires them. And you talked about the universe, maybe communicating and helping you write a song in some way. I don't know. So I would just like really openly open up the room of like, what's your relationship with spirit or this higher thing right now, and how has it maybe evolved over the years?
Someone asked me a couple months ago if I believed in God, and my response has always been, in the last decade, it depends on the day.
Mm-hmm.
However, my belief in our energy, and my belief in our spirit um, is very large, and that does not depend on the day. That is something I feel on a daily basis. Having a conversation with an individual, be it light or dark, you feel vibrations from people, and and even being alone, just trying to, write something or watch a movie or read a book. I mean, there are things that are just big. They're really big, and I'm tiny, and to be able to feel something that large in something so small, I don't know. That comes from something, and I'm not sure what that is, and I don't have a word or a definition for it, but it is undeniable. And when I say feeling, it makes it sound like happiness or sadness. It's not an emotion. It's an instinct. It's a gut reaction. Um, I can be happy 1 second and sad immediately afterward. It's not that kind of feeling. It's I don't know. I feel it now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So yeah. I believe in our souls. I believe in our spirits. That's probably a more accurate word. I believe in our spirit. Um, I don't know where we go when we die. I don't know where we were before we were born. Um, but I know where we are now, and it's heavy and it's rich and it's very. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty cool, and I'm very thankful to feel all the things. And I don't know. I'm coming out of this dark cloud that I've been living in for maybe 5, 6 years, and I was never ever on the verge of wanting to get out, but I was walking real slow and walking real heavy, and I was trying to feel it, and I was trying to be present for it. Um, but I finally, in the last recent months, started shedding off some of that weight and enjoying it all again. The 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 small minutia of life that makes me smile, or you know, yeah, life's been really sweet as of late.
That's awesome. It's really nice to hear.
Hell
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's awesome. All right, man. Two more questions, quick ones. I
Let's
don't know.
go.
Some people. I don't know. You can do whatever with it, whatever you want. What are you proud of?
What am I proud of?
Yes.
I'm an uncle of 3 cool kids, and I'm proud of my brother, and I'm proud for him building the life that he has, and his 2 kiddos, and then my youngest sister. Her firstborn just turned 1 yesterday, so I'm really proud to be an uncle. It's fun. Um, they're really cool. What else am I proud of? That's probably it. I'm proud of myself, sure, but we've talked about myself for the last hour, so we're good.
Awesome. And with everything going on in the world right now, and everything that you see when you are playing to a room of people, everything that you've experienced over all those years, so just like taking that into account and then looking out into the world where we are right now, if there's something, a message, something that you could share with anyone, what would that be?
Oh, goodness. I don't know. Fucking relax. just, just take it easy. Take it easy on yourself. Take it easy on the people around you. We are all hurting, and we are all trying our best. And my best may not look like your best, and yours may not look like mine. But we're trying based off the resources that we all have, and just take it easy. Clearly, there are people that need to be behind bars, but the rest of us we're struggling, and we're trying to figure it out. So just fucking relax, please. And stop commenting on the internet. Can we all just agree to stop commenting on the internet? Yes. I have been very guilty of it in the past, and I've made it a resolution of mine that I will no longer take out my aggressions and share my opinions on the internet. If I'm going to comment, it's going to be like, yo, bro, sick tattoo, or like, holy shit, nice fit, or like, man, this song is cool, or like, ha, 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 that was hilarious. But I am no longer going to vent or share frustrations or opinions on the internet. It's not healthy for any of us. So relax and stop commenting, please.
Yes, and also gonna ban content and connect,
Yes.
as we've as we've learned today.
I mean, feel free to use those words in your regular day-to-day lives, but when speaking or addressing me, don't say those words.
I won't. Well, that was awesome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
I'll make sure to do all the housekeeping. I also want to give you the chance. Where do you want people to go to find you? What's a good place? What's coming up? Tours?
Yeah, I mean, all of my information is. I'm the first David Ramirez that will come up on your internet browser. Yeah, if you want to know more about me in regards to music, that's where you find me, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.
Really means a lot. It was a beautiful conversation. Thanks so much for opening up and going there with me.